Welcome to another edition of the Linked Parishes podcast. I'm Donald McCorkindale, Minister of the Parishes of Strontian, Ardgour and Morvern, linked with Acharacal and Ardnamurchan, here on the beautiful West Highland peninsulas, bringing you news from these parishes and beyond. I'm recording this on Friday, the 7th of February. And last night, Thursday the 6th, we had the first of our gatherings at Treeslake Village Hall. Every month, usually on the first Thursday of the month, a gathering for cake, coffee and conversation. And last night, our conversation starter was the parable of the sower, the only one of Jesus' parables told in Matthew, Mark and Luke. No parables at all in John's Gospel. But the parable of the sower, the story that tells of the farmer scattering the seed and how it fell in different places, some of it not then able to grow to fruition. And, well, it is a parable that speaks into many situations in life today. Are we firmly rooted in the important things? Do we allow the distractions of the modern world to choke out goodness and love and God? If you're around the Lochside, if you're able to get to Treeslake on the 6th of March will be the next gathering, you will be very welcome. Let me tell you about a few of the things that are happening around the Peninsula Churches. On Monday the 10th of February, the Guild meets at Ardgour Church, and the arrangement there is that you bring along your own lunch, packed lunch, 12:30 we gather. There'll be tea and coffee to share. And the recording of last year's annual meeting of the Guild will be shared on that occasion. The following month into March the 10th, the Guild is going to meet, hopefully in Lochalan. I think that has still to be confirmed as the venue. The theme will be the Guild theme, Let Us Build a House. And all are welcome, as we say in the words of that song, Let Us Build a House, that's in our church hymnary. Let me just have a quick look at that. It's number 198 in CH4. Let us build a house where love can dwell and all can safely live. A place where saints and children tell how hearts learn to forgive. Built of hopes and dreams and visions, rock of faith and vault of grace. Here the love of Christ shall end divisions. All are welcome. All are welcome. All are welcome in this place. What a powerful, simple message of love for all. A word of inclusion. A word of how things might be if instead of othering the other, of creating distance and divisions and walls and separation, we could learn to live together in harmony. Whether we're talking about nations against nations, communities, families, different groups and cliques, and, well, within our own lives, we long for love and for peace. And so the Guild will be exploring some of that around the theme, Let Us Build a House. Those conversations, the sort of conversations that we're having at Treeslake Hall, things that happen around the Guild, these are conversations that matter about important subjects. And through 2025, I'm very keen to have many opportunities for folk to gather around coffee and cake and conversation about things that matter. 2 occasions to talk about a difficult and yet important subject for all of us to ponder. Death and dying, grief, bereavement, and all around that sense of loss. And many of those subjects are not just about the loss of a loved one. We have lots of losses in life. The loss of health, the loss of a job, the loss of security, the loss of financial independence. And so a wide range of things come into dying, loss, grief, and bereavement. 2 gatherings have been set up, one for Monday the 3rd of March at Ardgour and one on Monday the 31st of March in Strontian. The Ardgour one an afternoon 2:30 and in Strontian an evening 7:30. Both of those at the churches. Ardgour Church 3rd of March 2:30 and Strontian Church on the 31st of March at 7:30. An opportunity to come together, to talk, to listen, to share, to hear stories, experiences, some advice, some thoughts. And Dr. Isla MacLeod, a psychologist who lives on the Lochside, will be sharing in that too. And she has a particular focus and interest in grief and bereavement. I hope that many will feel able to share in those conversations that matter. What are some of the other things that you would want to have an opportunity to talk about? Do let me know. We'll create those spaces, safe spaces, to learn and to listen, to share together. World Day of Prayer always falls on the first Friday in March. So that's actually going to be a busy week, that first week in March. The opportunity for that conversation around death on the Monday. Thursday, there'll be the gathering at Treeslake, and that Friday, the World Day of Prayer, which this year comes from the Cook Islands around the theme, I Made You Wonderful. A thought from Psalm 139, a beautiful psalm that speaks in metaphorical language of how God has created and loves each one of us perfectly made, each one of us wonderful. I made you wonderful. So the World Day of Prayer service will be at Ardgour Church. I think the time has still to be confirmed, but more of that as we journey on through the month. Wednesday evening prayers continues every Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the evening, live streamed to YouTube and Facebook. And you'll find that on either of the church Facebook pages or the Facebook group, the Peninsula Churches group. If you search for that on Facebook, you'll find us there. And I hope that can become more of a safe space of community and sharing together as we operate across a large area. It's good to be able to connect online in that way. Wednesday evening prayers, a little pause towards the end of the day to reflect, to give thanks, to know that God loves each one of us. This coming Sunday the 9th of February, there will be worship around the peninsula. On Sunday, there will be worship at Ardgour Church, 10 o'clock, as there is nearly every week. First, second, third and fourth Sundays of the month, 10 o'clock worship at Ardgour. And this coming Sunday, the 9th, the Rev Duncan McPherson will be leading worship there. Duncan is in Kilhoan and is playing an increasing part in our ministry team around here, and it's good to have his input. At 11 o'clock on Sunday, Ella Gill will be leading worship at Ardnamurchan Church. I'll be at Strontian Church at 12 o'clock, and then in the afternoon, 2 o'clock at Kingairloch Church on the shore of Loch Linnhe. Worship at Kingairloch is always very special in that beautiful setting. And Sunday's readings around, that parable of the sower that I mentioned earlier, and we'll be thinking about Jesus as a storyteller. And down at Kingairloch, there is some magnificent stained glass depicting some of the stories that Jesus told and stories about Jesus' life. And we'll be thinking about some of those on Sunday. The live stream, which we would normally do on the second Sunday of the month, won't be happening. But my plan is to record some material down at Kingairloch in our worship there, thinking about Jesus, the storyteller, and thinking about the beautiful stained glass down there. So later on Sunday afternoon, I'll put that together as a worship video, and that will be available. You'll find that on the church's YouTube channel, and the most direct route to that is at youtube.com/@ Peninsula Churches. That's the @ symbol. And that's a YouTube thing that imposes that. I'm not making it awkward for you. youtube.com/ the @ symbol Peninsula Churches. So I think we've covered everything that's going on for the next little while. Do have a look at the church website, www.peninsulachurches.org.uk, and you'll find all that is happening around the congregations. I hope you are all well. I hope that you find some appropriate way to engage in the life of the local churches. And if you're a little bit curious and want to know more about what happens at the churches in the life of faith and community, seeking to live life in the way that Jesus was here showing us how to live and to love and to care, then do come along. Do come along any Sunday. You'll be very welcome. Do engage with what we're doing online. Do reach out to me. We would love to welcome you. Before we finish, let me read to you the parable of the sower. Matthew chapter 13. That same day, Jesus left the house and went to the lakeside, where he sat down to teach. The crowds that gathered round him was so large that he got into a boat and sat in it while the crowd stood on the shore. He used parables to tell them many things. Once there was a man who went out to sow corn. As he scattered the seed in the field, some of it fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some of it fell on rocky ground, where there was little soil. The seed soon sprouted, because the soil wasn't deep. But when the sun came up, it burned the young plants, and because the roots had not grown deep enough, the plants soon dried up. Some of the seed fell among thorn bushes, which grew up and choked the plants. But some seed fell in good soil, and the plants produced corn. Some produced 100 grains, others 60, and others 30. And Jesus concluded, "Listen, then, if you have ears." Thank you. Thank you for listening to this Linked Parishes podcast. For news of all that's going on, do check out the website peninsulachurches.org.uk or find us on Facebook. The Linked Parishes of Ardgour, Morvern and Strontian and Acharacal and Ardnamurchan are congregations of the Church of Scotland, and both are registered charities in Scotland, registered with Oscar. Thank you. May God bless you all.